News item number one comes from an article that you wrote, Scott, from the SAP Hybris customer event you attended.
That's exactly right.
SAP Hybris shifts into holistic customer experience. Back in September, SAP announced plans to unleash a powerful portfolio of SAP Hybris tools that were envisioned to enable in-the-moment customer profiling, digital commerce and community development, empowering an organization's front office to stay connected with the frequently shifting needs of its customers and prospects, and enabling companies to go beyond customer relationship management into a new area of digital connectedness, customer service, and support. Scott, what were your key takeaways from the summit, and what's the report card on this holistic approach to transformation?
Yeah, so the gist of what I was trying to say here and what I heard last week was you're right. So everything that you just read there is right, which is that SAP is really taking on a new approach. They're trying to now, with their purchase of Hybris some months ago, maybe it was 18 or 24 months ago even now at this point, they're really kind of their message today is that they're integrating that back in with the rest of the stack. And it's not just going to be the new marketing offering that they're coming up with, but also all the way into service and support and that. So this, in my view, is frankly music to my ears. I've said for a long time, and even on this show, Stephen, I've said that when Hybris decided to get into the when SAP decided to get into the customer experience game, that it would be game over for many, because I think that is the full spectrum of the customer experience, which doesn't include, which includes more than just the kind of marketing up to the point or through the buyer's journey, but also post-purchase, and that's much of the customer experience actually happens after the purchase.
And you refer in the article to this concept of customer journeys, right?
Yeah.
We always talk about customer journey, which is really that up to the sale moment, but you're really talking about here this whole, really looking at the entire experience management and how that loop back happens and what that really means for the customer.
That's right. The differentiation that I really wanted to make, and I felt like the executives there at the event were even using it incorrectly. We differentiate a lot between the customer life cycle and customer journeys. So customer life cycle is that which you're often, I think, seeing people use incorrectly, which is that notion of kind of finding out about the product, then investigating it, then going through the purchase process, and then kind of moving on into supporting and being an advocate. So that I view as being the customer life cycle. Customer journeys, there are many of them. As a Delta customer, for example, one customer journey would be, dropping off my bags, boarding the airplane. There's a lot of those individual times, and frankly, any one of those interactions can go south. And so my point about SAP getting into this is they have an awful lot of data and information because they have ERP, support desk, service desk, because they have an awful lot of information and data there, and interactions are kind of based on their platform. I felt like they would have a real good view into information about the actual customers. The challenge that I wrote about, Stephen, though, in this whole thing is if they're going to support that kind of full end-to-end experience and all of those journeys, and I think that's a good idea that they do so, who of their partners is going to be able to support them doing so?
And if you buy into it as a customer, if I say, look, this sounds absolutely perfect, it's exactly what I want, I'm interested in these customer journeys DCG talks about, what are the key characteristics I'm looking for in a partner that would be able to deliver on that? Because those are very different skill sets, really, from a delivery perspective.
Very different things. I mean, typically, if you look at the, Hybris as a product, it typically has the agencies. Digital agencies are the ones who tend to be the kind of partners of that area. So they're the ones who are working with you on creating digital marketing campaigns up to the point of kind of customer conversion, typically. They're not necessarily the same ones who are so interested in supporting your service desk, per se. Then you've got the more traditional SAP customers who are the Accentures of the world, or the large SI firms, maybe the Indian back office companies who are supporting large ERP implementations and might support service desk and things, but they don't really know diddly, to be honest with you, about marketing and supporting campaigns. So the worry is just because the technology is now evolving to include both sides of that kind of front office, back office notion, which partners are there that really kind of span that full gamut too? And it's it was a bit of a call to arms of the folks as to kind of who's going to step up, because I'm not really sure who the customer should go look to. Even the idea of an Accenture, there is an Accenture Interactive, an Accenture Digital, and there's also the typical Accenture who supports typical EMC, but they're really not very well integrated it any more than their name might imply.
Something to watch for in the future as things go, no question about
I
it.
agree. I think it's a new space for these agencies and service providers to build into. To grow into.
Interesting.